Well, everybody, it's day number 8, and Katie and I have just left a shelter. It's about I'd say it's about 7:15 right now. We left the shelter at about 6:40 this morning. We're going into, where we go? Oh, we're going into Franklin today, and that's 7 miles. 7 miles from the shelter. So we decided we'd get an early start, try to get there by 10 or 11. And it was cold last night, but I think we slept all right. It was our first night to actually sleep in a shelter. It was nice because it was a newer shelter. It was Rock Gap.
It's actually Long Branch.
Oh, Long Branch shelter. And that whole campsite, like, they have 7 tent spots, and literally only 7 tents can fit at that location. So we were fortunate enough that there were only when we got there were only 3 people staying on the main deck of the shelter, and like I said, it was pretty much a new deal. So yeah, now we're just hiking out, and we're going to stop in Franklin, wash all of our clothes. We're going to stay at a hostel with a couple other guys. Yeah, that's what's going on today. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go check it out.
Good morning.
How's it going?
You guys are cruising right along. I don't have my phone went down, so my phone went down, so I can't check the weather. Check out this water source. She's a beaut. That's what I say about everything. So, we're climbing Winding Stair, and we're gonna go to Winding Stair Gap, I believe, and there's a parking area there. And we're going into Franklin. But we've been on trail for, today's our 7th day, or today's our 8th day. Say our 8th or 7th day. It's our 8th day. We started last Thursday, so yesterday was day 7, today's day 8. And we've done just kind of a wrap up for our first little part of the trail. We packed like 7 to 10 days of food, and we still have a little bit of food left. Let's see, some lessons learned. The biggest thing to me was that Georgia has a avid backpacking community, and the weekends especially when it's nice like it was last weekend, you are going to compete with hikers, day hikers, weekend backpackers, Boy Scouts, car campers for space on the trail. Whether it's camping space or sanitation at water sites, or waiting in line for a pizza at Neil's Gap. That's something. But I don't want to downplay that, because it's a good thing. Like, having people, you know, getting off their butts and going out and enjoying the fresh air on the weekend. That's why we're out here. So that was number one. I don't know if I'm really gonna number these, but number two, climbing. I'm climbing right now. You know, just have a look at it. You know, here we are. There's mountains. You know, the most noticeably, and I talked about earlier in the week, adverse situation with these mountains is the fact, like the first notable thing is that you're climbing constantly. Let's see, third lesson learned. Sanitation. There are people, you know, coughing. There's some sick people with stomach viruses and whatnot. In the Georgia section, in particular, the trails are so well maintained that water sources are kind of like little camping sites as well, or places where people can set up for a few hours and hang out. So we treated our water for the most part through Georgia, and then would filter it after we treated it, just to get some of the nasty crap out. That's why we filtered afterwards. Water, yeah, having a trail guide, it's worth having a trail guide. I guess that's another lesson learned. It's good to know when there's water. It's good when you're out in the middle of nowhere to know how far you are from your next camping spot or your next water spot. But it's also handy as hell to know you know, where viewpoints are, outfitters, you name it. So that was a cool, you know, the Gut Hooks app has been working really well, and Katie's got that on her phone. Dealing with rain. We were fortunate enough to only get 2 days of rain this week. I know last year they were seeing 3+ days of rain a week, and yeah, so we only got 2. What we ended up doing is having to wait out for the sun to dry all of our stuff out. So you're going to spend a lot of time you know, waiting for the sun to dry things. You're going to be in wet shoes a lot, which isn't that bad. It's just a matter of putting them on and getting moving. As usual, like my poly shirts, like my full kind of like plastic based threaded shirts, stink really bad. Even though this is one here, this Melanzana I'm wearing. But yeah, I'm gonna go pick up another one and maybe try a fresh shirt and see if that helps the scenario a little bit. I've got another shirt that's blended like 33% cotton, and it just doesn't. It's 60% poly, 30% cotton, something like that, and it doesn't pick up the stink. It runs a little bit cooler when you're in the hot sun, so I'm going to try to make that work, but it also takes a little bit longer to dry, but it does dry really fast. And then let's see, is there anything else that's worth noting? Staying in shelters. So the upside of staying in the shelter is, we started stopping and staying at shelter campsites in just the last couple days. In Georgia, for the most part, we were doing primitive camping, or just, campsites that were kind of just established along the way. We'd stop there and kind of stay away from people in order to maintain our health. But yeah, staying at the shelters, lots of germs, lots of people coughing. We had our first shelter night last night, and Katie wasn't. It was a really nice shelter. I really enjoyed it. Katie really didn't like it at all. And then there was a mouse scare at like 10 o'clock last night, and that freaked her out. Whether or not there was really a mouse, it's still something that people worry about. Mice. But yeah, good place to get sick. The other thing too is like people, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, people loiter around shelters, like they'll hike. These guys are saying, oh yeah, we hiked 4 miles and we hung our clothes at a shelter and stayed there all day and ate, and then we're ready to knock out 16 the next day. That's fine, but like there are people who hike 4 miles a day and say they're going to finish the trail. I don't know if I'm going to finish the trail. That's why I call it an attempted through hike. But if you're only hiking 4 miles a day, every day, or 6 miles a day, and I know you're waiting for your legs, maybe make way for people at the shelters who don't have time to set up in the evening. We get in. We've had places to stay at, plenty of shelters, but I feel for other folks who want to hike into the night and need to just pull in and go to sleep. The shelters can sometimes be dominated by loitering hikers, day hikers, weekend backpackers, you name it. So, but yeah, and that's about it. So we're gonna go into town, have a good day, resupply, do some laundry, take some showers, sleep on mattresses, and then we'll be back out here tomorrow.
Hi everybody, Katie here. Trail name still Katie. Just kidding, I don't have a trail name yet. Dan does, it's Radar. So, recap of the week, first 7 days. March 21st through, I guess, the 27th, maybe. Exciting things were that number 1, we finished Georgia. Number 2, we crossed 100 miles. Number 3, we went to our first fire tower, Albert Mountain or something. 4, definitely the hot shower from top of Georgia Mountain Hostel. And 5, just like starting this huge journey. So that was definitely something that it's a first of a first. So those were obviously the most notable. They're all kind of big things, so it seems kind of obvious for those. Bottom 5, I would say, setting up in camp in the rain is kind of the pits. We're getting faster at it, and doing it near a shelter is easier, so you can kind of take cover and wait it out. 2 would be probably shower laundry and then having rain. So shower laundry seems like a really good idea, and it would be if you had enough time to So number 2, shower laundry. So shower laundry is a good idea if the weather is going to be nice and you can actually air out all of your laundry to dry. But when you do shower laundry and then it rains for 2 days, you don't actually really get to air out your laundry. So you're just carrying a pack of wet laundry that's like pseudo clean, because again, you're only using shampoo or body wash to like clean this stuff. It's still better than usual. So because of that, number 3 would be wearing Dan's disgustingly clean shirt that somehow holds the most odor possible. So because of shower laundry and because I packed close to ultralight, I didn't have a lot of redundancy, so I didn't have extra shirts. So since my shirt was soaking wet from shower laundry, Dan had an extra shirt he hadn't worn yet, so a clean shirt. But boy, after like 10 minutes of going uphill on it, the smells that came out of it, I swear, they weren't all me. But just like,
They weren't all me either.
Dan says they were not him either, so I don't know who put them in there, but somehow it got gross. So that was a bummer. So I'm gonna pick up a new shirt probably at Walmart when we go into town. So in case I need a trail laundry shirt again, I have something else to change into. 4, I'm going to say, is the blisters in my feet. I've tried to treat some of them earlier than others. Some of them have, kind of been cured and gone away. Like my first blister kind of fixed itself after I put tape on it. Now I have feet full of blisters, and I think it's from the Injinji sock liners with the Darn Tough. Maybe it's from In and Out Rain. I don't know. I also switched to the Injinji trail running sock, hoping that would fix some of it, but I think that made it worse. So right now I'm hiking in my pajama socks, which are my wigwams, my warm socks, because we're going into town anyway for laundry, so it doesn't matter if they're wet or dry. But I need to figure out my footwear game. Okay, I think I wrapped up number 4 on blisters. So we'll figure out footwear. 5, I don't know. I can't think of a specific thing so far. Like, everything with food has gone really well. The Trail Magic has been wonderful. It's been so sweet. Oh, number 5, Trail Magic. As far as trail magic that's not there, when you have signs out on the trail like miles before the checkpoint or whatever, and it says free hot dogs and sodas or whatever it is, I mean, take your signs down, because no one likes false trail magic. Like, do you know what a hot dog means to me right now? Now, I know it's still early on the trail, so it doesn't mean as much to me as it would later on the trail, but like, that revs up the thru hiker. And anyway, so there. But when you do have trail magic and it's there, it's an awesome surprise. Really, really love it. I would go on a love list. So that's it. Top and bottom of week 1 from the AT. Anyway, peace out.